Whew, perfect for this month. Well, with its color change, with its trees of golden leaves that will soon turn into bare branches that reveal more of the autumn and winter skies, October is a wonderful reminder that this world is all about change, and that it is change that facilitates and generates renewal and evolution and restoration and transformation. If we trust the lesson of change, that everything in this world changes, that nothing stays the same for a good reason, rather than holding on to thoughts in our mind that tell us that life shouldn't vary or fluctuate, that it needs to stay exactly the same and in a certain way, and not just for us, but for everybody else, we'll be less resistant to new thoughts that allow us to have a more expanded perception and experience of life. Nisargadatta Maharaj wrote, "Suffering is due entirely to clinging or resisting. It's a sign of our unwillingness to move on and to flow with life. If we're willing, change will grow us and expand us from the inside out by showing us that movement and flexibility and flow are part of God's universal plan. And that plan is in place here and there and everywhere throughout this human experience. There's no spot where God is not, because God is at the very heart of this human experience. It's within everything, including all of us. The God in us is the unchanging goodness that is forever showing up in our life as the changing forms and expressions and experiences that we experience in our own life and the world around us. Paramahansa Yogananda said, as moving pictures are sustained by a beam of light coming from the projection booth of a movie house, so we are all sustained by the one cosmic beam, the divine light pouring from the projection booth of eternity. And speaking of movie houses, did you know that the 7th Mission Impossible movie, The Last Duel, is coming out on Friday, October 15th? Well, I love those movies. I love Ethan Hunt, which is the character that Tom Cruise plays in those movies, because he believes and he proves every time that nothing, absolutely nothing, is impossible. And no matter what happens in the movies, there's always a perfect outcome in the end, always. Every situation, every threat, no matter how huge it might appear, even if it seems like the whole world is in jeopardy, it's not only resolved by the end of the movie, but the resolutions are filled with miraculous twists and turns and stunts that we wouldn't believe possible until they happen. In fact, there's no mission that's impossible, as long as there's someone like Ethan Hunt willing to accept the mission. It's only through acceptance that anything is made possible. We read in the book of Matthew, with God, all things are possible. We've all accepted the mission to come to this human experience, and through our acceptance, nothing is impossible to us. If we're willing to let go of our tight grip on how life is supposed to be, life will show us how life is intended to be and who we are created to be within it. If we just let life flow fearlessly and peacefully between the wisdom of our mind and the love of our hearts, we'll naturally rise in an awareness that nothing is fixed or immovable, that any change is possible in our life, no matter how unalterable its appearance may seem. Nothing is impossible to us or through us if we are aware that it's the divine light pouring through us from the projection booth of eternity, the God in us that is doing the work. Again, Paramahansa Yogananda says, I relax and put aside all mental burdens, allowing God to express through me His perfect love and His perfect wisdom and serenity. No matter what's going on, whether we find ourselves hanging from a cliff or in a hospital bed, whether we find ourselves trying to defuse a bomb or simply to end an argument with someone. When we rely on the pure energy of love, infinite possibilities come to us. It opens us to those possibilities, and the seeming impossible becomes possible to us. Everything that happens, every situation in our life and in the world, no matter how huge the problem appears to be, will have a positive outcome eventually. How long it takes and how resistant-free we experience life along the way is up to us. The goodness of life remains here and there and everywhere. And all that's required of us, is to be aware it's there. The sacred texts tell us that with love, all things are possible. With love, all things work together for good. And we read in the book of Romans, and we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are called according to His purpose. We're all called to a mission of love. But we must accept the mission and love God's creation with all of our heart and mind every day, with all our thoughts and words and actions focused on the good that life is. Creation is a love story, and we are all called by love to love and to let life work, to let love work things out. Even when we can't see the solution clearly, if we trust, there's nothing that can't be changed, moved or improved by the presence of God in us. We'll become an uplifted, healing presence in this world and a holy helper to everyone around us. Which brings us to our letter today along our spiritual journey through the alphabet. And today we come upon the letter U. And today U is for Uplifter. And as mentioned, the title of this morning's talk is Are You an Uplifter? Now, we all want to be an uplifter. None of us wants to be a downer. But sometimes we make matters worse for ourselves and for others because we confuse commiseration with compassion and enabling for love. We get so caught up in the painful experience that someone else is having, we can't see beyond the problem to the healing light. I feel your pain is a compassionate recognition that we understand the pain someone else is having because we too have felt pain. But suffering because someone else is suffering isn't uplifting to anyone. If we want to be an uplifter, we must constantly remind ourselves that every living being, no matter how things appear to be in their life, is sustained by the one cosmic beam. And then look for that healing divine light that is present right there to do the healing works. It's up to us to choose our focus on what's in front of us or what's within us. We can either lock our eyes and our mind on a visible calamity, or we can choose to look beyond it to the light of divinity. We read these words in the book of John spoken by Jesus. And I, if I be lifted up from the earth, will draw all men unto me. Now, we've all seen pictures and statues of Atlas with the world on his shoulders, and he certainly doesn't look as if he could lift himself up from the earth, much less take the world with him into a brighter day. And we all want a brighter day for our world, but we can't be lifted up from the earth while we're carrying the weight of all its problems on our shoulders. When we become joined in earth-bound problems, we're unable to lift ourselves so that we're able to see the world in a new light. When our focus is downward, we're not an uplifting presence in the world, and rather than drawing anyone up, we allow others to pull us down. It's vital that we learn to hold our own vibration and feel what we choose to feel wherever we are. I mean, when we walk into a room feeling good, and we notice that no one else in the room is feeling the good we're feeling, do we lower our vibration and our energy so that others feel more comfortable around us, or that so they'll relate to us? When I was a little girl, the unspoken rule of the house I know it was unspoken, but it had a lot of consequences. But the rule was this: if Mama's not feeling happy, no one should be feeling happy. And if you can't control your happiness, you need to take it outside. And I spent a lot of time outside. It took a long, long time for me to understand that my being happy wasn't disrespectful to others who were not. That I could feel happy no matter what was going on around me. And that doesn't mean that we don't understand the pain another is experiencing. Doesn't mean that we giggle or crack a joke when someone is feeling sad or suffering. Doesn't mean that we dance in a hospital room. But if we allow an outer situation to affect our inner vibration, we have nothing to give. We lose our divine ability to be an uplifter. Eckhart Tolle wrote, "The only thing you have to heal is the present thought." Get that right, and the whole picture will change into one of harmony and joy. All of us at some time or another need help. And all of us at some time or another become a helper. Now, I was looking for a word that started with "you" when I came up with this morning's title, but it could very well be the same question we ask ourselves if we ask, are you a helper? We help the world and everyone in it through our prayers that are filled with a positive conviction that everything is working out for good. We help the world and everyone in it by focusing our thoughts on uplifting things, by engaging in uplifting conversations with others, by being a helper when we're called to help or to reach out our hand to someone, even if it's a stranger. Then we become a powerful healer in a world that is waiting to know its worthiness to be healed. Mr. Rogers said, when I was a boy, I would see scary things in the news. My mother would say to me, "Look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping." Now, whether we're a first responder, a doctor, an energy worker, a counselor, a family member, a friend, or a stranger, love is the uplifting vibration that causes us to want to help each other and actually allows us to be effective when we do it. Helpfulness is one of the things that connects us with each other. My son, as many of you know, lives in the wine country in Northern California, and as we all know, for years now, everyone there has been living through a drought that has created the perfect environment for wildfires every summer, throughout the entire summer. And he sent me an email a few days ago after he'd taken a trip up to Oregon to drop my granddaughter off at college. And this is what he wrote. He said, on the way home, we went through the last, hopefully, major fire of the season up at Lake Shasta. The tankers were circling and dropping their retardant, and it was really quite moving to see it happening, to see such heroes, such heroics and selfless action. In this age where heroes is overused and applied to just about everyone, I really do think of firefighters as heroes. The risks they take unarmed, fighting forces so much bigger than they are, it's awe-inspiring. And I felt a bit emotional watching the tanker swooping down to drop its payload. Helpers are all about solutions. If they focused on the problems, if they panicked, then they would become part of the problem and make matters worse. But Mr. Rogers said this: the world needs a sense of worth, and it will achieve it only by its people feeling that they are worthwhile. When we help through positive prayer, through our uplifted presence, through our words and through our actions, we tell others that they are worthwhile, that they are worth caring about, that they are worth our staying positive for. The uplifted positivity that we bring with us wherever we are is a powerful thing, because we're aligned with the power of the one cosmic being that makes everything possible. Namaste. Okay. Well, this is our happy time, and we get to be happy indoors because we get to say thank you. And it is such a joy to say thank you to every gracious heart, to every loving being who is here now, who has been with us throughout this last year and a half. We are just so grateful for your love and your support through your vibration of love and through your financial support. And so I talk about this for several reasons, but we have a few people here who take just the talk and hand it out to people they know who don't come here, but they know that they'll appreciate the message. And many times they've been asked, well, how can I support this message? So this is for you if you want to know how to do that. You can donate on our Facebook page, Life Enrichment Center. There's a donate button there. You can go to our website, lecflint.com, and hit the contribute button and support there. If you are a member of PayPal, you can support through there. And if you'd like to send a check, or if you'd like to come in person, we are at 2512 South Thigh Road, Flint 48532. And thank you.